Welcome dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the remaining portion of the chapter number 4 air. Today in this video you are going to know about some of the most important factors, those which are related to the climate and weather. Mainly in this video we will discuss the terms climate and weather. What is the meaning of them we will discuss, and we will try to know about the factors those which are related to it. So let's enjoy the video. So dear students, first of all we will discuss what is referred as weather and what is the relationship between weather and climate. So first of all, what is referred as the weather? What is the meaning of it? Weather means day-to-day change, each and every moment which change is found in the atmospheric condition, that is referred as weather. So weather means the every moment's change in the atmosphere, it is referred as what? It is referred as the weather. So in case of weather, we usually see any change in the atmosphere. So what we are seeing from the morning to the night, we can see that the lots of changes. Suppose very in the early in the morning, we can see the different temperature. When the time increases, we used to see during the time of midday there is also increase of the temperature. Once again during the time of the night, the temperature usually get down. Somehow it is not cloudy situation at present, but after 2 hours it may be the cloudy situation, rainfall may start. So all these are example of what? Example of the weather. So those which are the components of the atmosphere, their changes, they usually lead to the weather condition. So day-to-day change, every moment's change in the condition of the components, it is referred as what? It is referred as the weather. So which are the components of weather? Air, next one temperature, rainfall, humidity, all these are associated to the weather. So if there is any change in them, that is referred as the weather. So look at your textbook. The weather is this hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere. A hot or humid weather may make irritable. So this is an example of what is weather. But when we calculate the average of weather condition for the 30 to 35 years, that is referred as the climate. So climate of India, climate of any other country, climate of any continent, that depends on the information regarding the particular area for the 30 to 35 years. Their average we usually say as the climate. So look at the climate, the word it is written over here. So what is the climate? However, the average weather condition of a place for the longer period of time represent the climate. So what is the meaning of the climate? I think it is clear to you. So climate means that the average of the weather condition. So dear students, first of all we will discuss what is referred as weather and what is the relationship between weather and climate. So first of all, what is referred as the weather? What is the meaning of it? Weather means day-to-day change, each and every moment which change is found in the atmospheric condition, that is referred as weather. So weather means the every moment's change in the atmosphere, it is referred as what? It is referred as the weather. So in case of weather, we usually see any change in the atmosphere. So what we are seeing from the morning to the night, we can see that the lots of changes. Suppose very in the early in the morning, we can see the different temperature. When the time increases, we used to see during the time of midday there is also increase of the temperature. Once again during the time of the night, the temperature usually get down. Somehow it is not cloudy situation at present, but after 2 hours it may be the cloudy situation, rainfall may start. So all these are example of what? Example of the weather. So those which are the components of the atmosphere, their changes, they usually lead to the weather condition. So day to day change, every moment's change in the condition of the components, it is referred as what? It is referred as the weather. So which are the components of weather? Air, next one temperature, rainfall, humidity, all these are associated to the weather. So if there is any change in them, that is referred as the weather. So look at your textbook. The weather is this hour to hour, day to day condition of the atmosphere. A hot or humid weather may make irritable. So this is an example of what is weather. But when we calculate the average of weather condition for the 30 to 35 years, that is referred as the climate. So climate of India, climate of any other country, climate of any continent, that depends on the information regarding the particular area for the 30 to 35 years. Their average we usually say as the climate. So look at the climate, the word it is written over here. So what is the climate? However, the average weather condition of a place for the longer period of time represent the climate. So what is the meaning of the climate? I think it is clear to you. So climate means that the average of the weather condition. So average of the weather condition, we have to minutely see that which are the components, their changes, their average condition for the long period of time. And what is the long period of time? It is the 30 to 35 years. It is referred as what? It is referred as the climatic condition. Now dear students, we are going to know about the components of the weather and climate. So I hope that what is the meaning of weather and climate, it is clear to you. We have got the concept that every moment's change, it is referred as the weather, and when we usually make the average of it for the for that 30 to 35 years, it is referred as what? It is referred as the climatic condition. So the most important factors, those which are related, in your textbook it is given already. Please look at your textbook. The temperature, those which are very much important to us. First of all, temperature. Next one, the rainfall, we can also say. Air pressure is also important. Wind is also important factor. Air pressure, already I have told you, as well as also the last one, the moisture or the precipitation in the form of precipitation. They are very much influential on the climatic as well as also the weather change. So first of all, we will see temperature. What is the meaning of temperature? How can we define temperature? That we will discuss here. The first thing we have to keep in mind, temperature means the degree of hotness and the coldness of the air is known as temperature. So what is temperature? Where it is written, look at the degree of hotness. The degree of hotness and the coldness of the air is known as temperature. So ultimate source of the temperature, what is the ultimate source of the temperature? The ultimate source of the temperature is insolation. Look at insolation. What is the meaning of insolation? Incoming solar energy. Without sun rays, it is very difficult to create such variation in the atmospheric condition, in which we will see that the variation of the temperature. Such variation of the temperature is also found from one place to another. We have to keep it in mind when we are going to the polar side. we usually see there is comparatively less temperature, and when we live or when we are staying during within the tropical area or the equatorial region, the temperature there remains very high. What is the reason behind it? First of all, we have to keep in mind the shape of the earth. Look at the diagram here. Yes, so now look at the polar region as well as towards the polar region. What I told you, we usually see that the comparatively less temperature, or such areas we know that they are covered by the snow. What is the reason behind it? The solar insolation, they are not able to reach vertically. The solar insolation remain they remain vertical almost within the tropical region, this particular region to this particular region. So this is in this region we can see that the vertical sunrays availability. Vertical means those which are falling directly, such sunrays, the straight sunrays, they are very much capable to provide to provide the more temperature or to increase the temperature of that place. Now what is the reason behind it? The reason behind it, the first of all, the shape of the earth. The shape of the earth, it is geoid, it is half circle. If we take this much, then what we will say? We will say that this much, that a half circle. So when the sun is giving the sun rays, obviously this particular portion, which is the bulge portion, that usually get the more sun rays. But side by side we have to keep in mind the earth is also locating on its axis by creating 66.5 degree angle. So angular position of the earth as well as also the shape of the earth as well as also the change in the position of the earth in its orbit throughout the year, this will usually lead to the differentiation in the temperature. Now we will say also the temperature is different from village to the rural area, village as well as also in the urban areas. We will also see that the reasons behind it. So insolation decrease from here, you see the what I have discussed, the amount of insolation decreases from the equator towards the poles. What is the reason? Already I have discussed. Therefore the temperature decreases in the same manner. Now do you understand why poles are covered with the snow? That already I have told you. If the earth's temperature rises too high, it would become too warm for some crops to grow. Temperature in cities is much higher than that of villages. So now we are going to discuss about what is the reason behind the temperature variation in the most populated area and comparatively less populated area. The areas those where the most maximum population usually found, which places are very much crowded condition we can find, such areas we can say that there is also the increase of the temperature. The reason is that the metals what we usually use for the making of the buildings, next one for the construction of the roads, etc., they used to consume more heat, means they can hold the temperature, they can absorb the more amount of solar insolation, and for this reason we can also see that there is the variation in the temperature. Look at the line, the concrete and the metals the concrete and metals buildings, concrete and the metals in buildings and the asphalts of the roads get heated up during the day. This heat released during the night. Look at temperature in cities much higher than of villages also. So in cities, what we used to see the more number of buildings, which are also the cause for the increasing temperature. By which material we are using, they are also causing increasing temperature. Side by side, also the less number of natural vegetation is also the another reason behind the increasing temperature in such areas. Next one, also the crowded high-rise buildings of the cities trap warm air, thus rise the temperature of the cities. So this is also the another reason. So you may get the question here, what is the reason behind the increasing temperature or more temperature is constant in the urban areas, why not in the rural areas? So you have to say this one, the concrete metals to the night, up to night you can also write, or during the day you can write, you can also say about this also, the crowded high rise buildings of the cities trap warm air. So when the warm air is being trapped by these buildings, obviously it led to the increasing of temperature. So the variation of the temperature season to season also gives us the variety, the diversity also being created by what? By the temperature, because in the different temperature different kinds of land, different kinds of natural vegetation they may grow. In the different seasons we can grow also the different kinds of vegetation, but we have to keep in mind this kind of temperature, this will be moderate. If there is huge increase in the temperature, that is also not good for us. If there is also the very less temperature, that is also not suitable for the population habituation, or human beings cannot, or any kind of life cannot sustain. Next one, we are going to know about the next important factor for which the weather and climates gets affected. Next one, we are coming to the air pressure. So what is the meaning of air pressure? The pressure which is being extracted by the air on a particular unit of area, that is referred as the air pressure. Look at, you will be surprised to know that air above us press us with a great force on our body. However, we do not even feel it. This is because the air presses us from all directions and our body extracts the counter pressure. So that is why we are not able to understand the air pressure. Air pressure is defined as the pressure extracted by the weight of air on the earth's surface. So I think you have got the line, I am marking also. Air pressure is defined as the pressure extracted by the weight of air on the earth's surface. This is very much important to remember, that what is air pressure. So air also creating the pressure when the mass, obviously that any kind of mass they can create the pressure, and air is also not exception, it is also creating the pressure. Now which portion we can see that the more amount of pressure, more pressure is found lowermost area. Yes, we are discussing about that the condition of the air pressure, in which condition air pressure varies. First of all, air pressure varies with the height. If there is the increase of the height, automatically means automatically there will be decrease of the air pressure, because we know the earth atmosphere, it is stratified, there are lots of layers. So if we will go above, obviously we will see that the reduction of the air pressure, as the pressure by the other layers of air, other layers of atmosphere is giving the less, creating the less pressure on it. This is the most important reason for which we usually see the lowermost section on the earth's surface, is getting the highest amount of air pressure. So if you will go to the sea beaches, if you will go to the coastal areas, we will see that there is the maximum air pressure. We can observe, if we measure it, we will see that the maximum air pressure is found on the coastal region. We can see, we can realize it, that air pressure is maximum here. But if we will go upward side, if we will go to the mountainous region, due to the falling of air pressure, we also face the problem of breathing. not only due to the less availability of the other gases, those which are life supporting, but also the air pressure decreases. In that air pressure, we not in that very comparatively less air pressure, we not able to sustain that. It is very difficult for us, those which are living in the plain areas, and automatically it's required the more and more time. Suppose if you take the example, at present along with the China border, Indian government is deploying the army. So they are being sent over there in that place prior to the announcing of any kind of attack or anything, because they have to be habituated over there. That is why they are being sent over there from the very earlier time, and it is very difficult to conduct the life in the comparatively upper region where the air pressure used to decrease with the increase of the height. So I think it is clear to you. Air pressure is also greatly affected by another thing, that is temperature. What I have told, the temperature. With the temperature there is also relationship with what? Relationship with the air pressure. What is? With the increase of the temperature, there is the possibility, there is obviously it is to happen in the nature that air pressure get released, or comparatively less pressure used to form or used to observe. What is the reason? The air mass, they usually get heated. When they are being heated, obviously they can move in the different directions. The air, they can easily can move from one place to another. So we are getting that the temperature is also very much important for what? Important for determining the air pressure. So look at the air pressure is highest at the sea level and decreases with the height. Horizontally, distribution of air pressure is influenced by the temperature. So what type of? Vertical air pressure is mainly dominated by what? Is mainly dominated by the factors, that is that is height. Horizontal and vertical, there is the two kinds of air pressure. Vertical means this type, horizontal means this type. So horizontal, it is horizontal one, it is mainly dominated by the temperature. The main reason behind the horizontal distribution, behind the variation of the horizontal temperature horizontal air pressure distribution, we can see that the temperature is responsible. So I think it is clear to you, the temperature. So here you look that line, very particular line, horizontal distribution. Look at, as we go up horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by the temperature of air at given place. In areas where temperature is high, the air gets heated and rises. This creates a low pressure area. Low pressure is associated with the cloudy skies and the wet weather. Influence of the temperature on air pressure, and we have to keep in mind, it is mostly related to the what? Mostly related to the horizontal air pressure. So pressure, already I have mentioned that the air pressure is being extracted, is being felt on us in two ways. Number one, it is referred as the vertical one, and next one, it is the horizontal one. Vertical one, already I have mentioned that vertical air pressure distribution, it is mainly affected by what? Mainly affected by the height. Now what is the influence of temperature on the air pressure distribution? With the increase of the temperature, there is creation of the low pressure, and with the decrease of the temperature, there is possibility of the development of high pressure. So reverse. So temperature increases means what? Temperature increases means low, temperature increase. Suppose if we so this, it is T means the temperature. Obviously air pressure, A, it will reduce. Air pressure, I have written here, A, it will reduce, means ultimately it will lead to the formation of low pressure condition. So that is why we can also see that the permanent low pressure belt, look at the diagram once again, permanent low pressure belt in the equatorial region. It is written here equatorial low. Why it is referred as the equatorial low? Because this particular section always receive vertical sun rays. Vertical sun rays is available in the equatorial region. That is why it is referred as the low pressure, permanently low pressure region. Low pressure means air will be felt, air. Low pressure means what? Low pressure means obviously when the air masses they expand. So look at the line. Air pressure influenced horizontally, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by temperature of air at the given place. In the areas where temperature is high, air gets heated and rises. So when the air they can move very easily from one to another place, means they are getting the opportunity to rise, obviously they will create the less pressure on us or on the surface. So we have to keep it in mind that when the air expands, so expansion of the air, it is very much concerned to what? Very much concerned to the heat. So increase of the heat, increase of the temperature, it leads to what? It leads to the development of the low pressure. So I think it is clear to you. So when in the upper side there is also the relationship with the temperature, with the as well as also height, we can also see with the increase of the height, when there is decrease of the temperature, we know that temperature decreases with the increasing height. So we are saying it, height is increasing means temperature will also decrease. That is why, though I have mentioned the air they can create the comparatively less pressure in the upper side, but in case of horizontal distribution of the air pressure, we can feel that in the upper region there is also creation of the high pressure belt. So that is why, look at in the in this page once again, that is why in the polar region always the high pressure. You may ask the question that, sir, polar region it is located in the comparatively in the higher altitude, higher latitude, so how it is possible to have the higher pressure? The first of all, we have to keep in mind in this region the sun rays always they are slanting. Next one, we have to keep in mind due to the less temperature, so temperature is less, in this condition the air cannot be expanded. So unless until the air it is not being expanded, it will not able to create the high pressure and not able to expand it, not able to provide it, not able to create the low pressure. So when the air they usually concentrate, that time what we used to see? We used to see that the formation of high pressure belt. That is why the polar region always remain as a high pressure. So what is, you may get also the question here, that why air pressure remain very high in the polar region? You have to write the two options, the 2 points. Number one, due to the lack of temperature or due to the cold condition, and next one we have to remember the solar insolation, it is not vertical at all over there. So solar radiation they cannot be vertical, it is not vertical at all over the areas those which are beyond the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. I think you have read about this factor, this phenomenon in class 6 already you have read, that is referred as the oscillation of the sun. So due to the movement, we can also say this one, due to the movement of the earth along with the orbit around the sun, the distance from the sun, it also increases or decreases. Simultaneously we can also see the angle of insolation, angle of falling of sun rays, they usually get changed. So that also lead to what? That also lead to the such condition in which the solar insolation remains very particularly vertical up to this region, means within the tropics or the tropical region, the solar insolation remains very high, solar insolation rate is very high, because this particular section is getting the vertical sun rays. Whenever it is going to be slant in the beyond to the tropical area, obviously there will be the creation of the creation of what? Creation of the high pressure condition. That is why the high pressure used to prevail in the polar region due to the coldness as well as also solar insolation. I think it is clear to you. So next one we are going to discuss about the next portion. Areas having the lower temperature, the air is areas having the lower temperature, there the air is cold, the it is therefore heavy air sinks and creates a high pressure area. High pressure is associated with the clear and the sunny skies. The air always moves from the high pressure to the low pressure areas, and we have to keep it in mind the air usually blow from the high pressure to the low pressure area. High to the low pressure area winds, low pressure area winds used to blow. So high pressure to the HP means high pressure, to the LP means low pressure, HP to LP means high pressure to the low pressure region winds used to blow or air used to move. So here we can get that the some of the questions, what questions may arise from here. What is the relationship between temperature and air pressure? What is the relationship between air pressure and height, or how the air pressure is affected by the natural phenomena? So you have to write about them in this way, that with the increase of the height there is possibility of the high there is possibility of lowering down of the atmospheric pressure or air pressure due to the reduction in the pressure which is being extracted by the other layers in the upper side, that we have to keep it in mind. And next one, in case of the horizontal distribution, when the temperature remains very low, that is why we used to see that the vertical horizontal distribution, in case of the horizontal distribution, the temperature affects it by giving the scope of expansion or contraction. So when the material they will be contracted in a place, obviously it will lead to what? It lead to the development of such kind of condition in which air cannot expand, whereas the condition will be found, such type of condition will be found in which the temperature is very high. Obviously it lead to the development of what? Development of the low pressure region, because the air expands. So I think it is clear. Next one, wind. Already I have told you what is the direction of the air. What is the meaning of the wind? Wind means horizontal movement of air. Horizontal movement, we have to keep it in mind, horizontal movement, not vertical. Horizontal movement of air is referred as wind, and wind system usually blows from high pressure to the low pressure region. So we can see the possibility of the development of the storms, development of cyclones in the low pressure region. In very recent past, we have also affected by the great cyclone that is known as Amphan. What is the reason of the development of Amphan? As the temperature of the particular place has increased and huge amount of cold wind system, those which started to blow towards the low pressure region. So when there will be excessive increase of the temperature, that will lead also the condition of the low pressure, means that the low pressure region will be created and in intensity gets increased. With the increase of the intensity means that the capability it will increase to develop the cyclone. So we have to keep in mind, wind usually blow from high pressure to the low pressure area. What is the meaning of wind? Wind means the horizontal movement of air from the high pressure to the low pressure area. It is referred as the wind system. Low pressure creation may leads to the development of what? Development of cyclonic condition also. So I think it is clear to you. We will see that the other lines regarding this. So look at, sometimes when the winds blows gently, you can even see it blowing away smoke or fine dust. It at times wind can be also can be so strong that it is difficult to walk against it. You must have experienced it is not easy to hold the umbrella on the windy day. So all these are being said about the what about the condition of the low pressure in which the storm can blow, in which the cyclone may be created, means direction of not only the direction of the wind but also the speed of the wind. It is also determined indirectly by the temperature and air pressure. I think it is clear to you. Next one, there are the different types of winds. What they are? Number one, the permanent wind system. Next one, seasonal wind system, and next one, the local wind system. Permanent wind system means permanent winds. The trade winds, westerlies and easterlies are the permanent winds. These are some examples, means those which usually blow in the same direction due to the creation of the permanent pressure belt. So already we have learned that winds used to blow or air used to move horizontally from high pressure to the low pressure region. So automatically we will see that the comparatively more air pressure region, means where that air pressure is comparatively more, from that region the wind they usually start blowing towards the comparatively low pressure region. So that is why we can also see the wind they usually blow towards the equatorial region. You can also see here that wind is also blowing towards the equatorial region. What is the reason? The reason is that this particular region, that subtropical high pressure belt has been created. So from the tropical regions high pressure belt towards the equatorial region, wind used to blow. So these are some examples of what? Examples of the permanent wind system you have got. Next one, easterlies and westerlies. What is the meaning of easterlies? Easterlies means the wind system which blows from the eastern side towards the west, that is referred as the easterlies. Whereas westerlies means from the western side to the eastern side when the wind used to blow, that is referred as the westerlies. The easterlies and westerlies, I think it is also clear to you. Seasonal wind, these winds change their direction in different seasons, such as monsoon in India. It is an crucial example regarding the seasonal wind. We can also see that the direction of the wind system gets changed during the summer as well as also winter. In India we can see, or entire in the northern hemisphere we can also see this one, wind used to start blowing from the northern side during the time of winter, whereas wind used to blow mostly from the southward direction. So that is due to the position of India or anything that you will get the other concept you will get regarding this in the higher classes. So I think that what is the example of the seasonal wind that you have got. Next one, local wind. Lu is an example of it. What is this local wind? Due to the increase of the temperature in a certain place, the direction of the wind may be changed. that is referred as the local wind. These blow only during the particular period of the day or year in a small area. For example, land and sea breezes. And also I have told you another thing, that Lu means what? Lu means that the hot wind system which used to blow during the time of summer in the afternoon or midday to afternoon during this time, that is what as the example of the local wind. Also sea breezes and what is the meaning of sea breezes and the land breezes? Sea breezes and the land breezes means that the wind system which usually being interchanged between the ocean and the land, that is referred as the sea breezes and land breezes. Next portion, we are coming to know about the moisture. What is the source of the moisture? I think you know, it is evaporation. Now the moisture when they get condensed, the water vapor when they get condensed, they lead to the creation of what? They lead to the creation of the cloud, and that cloud when they not able to hold themselves, they again as a drop water droplet, they comes on the earth surface, they fall on the earth surface. It is known as the precipitation. So moisture is available in the terms of what? In the terms of the water vapor, and it is also being visualized by us in the form of precipitation. What is the meaning of the precipitation? Precipitation doesn't mean the only rainfall. Precipitation means any kind of downpour, any kind of water droplet formation. It is those which usually fall on the earth surface, they are referred as the precipitation. So in this regard, we can also say the snowfall, it is also the precipitation. Rainfall is also the part of precipitation. So now look at, according to the textbook lines, what is given. When water evaporates from the land when water evaporates from the land and different water bodies, it becomes the water vapor. So what is water vapor? When it is due to the temperature, due to the increasing of temperature, when there is the when there is a transformation of the water into the gaseous form, that is referred as the water vapor. Moisture in the air at any time is known as humidity. So what is humidity? Humidity means that particular concept, that amount of moisture which is present in the atmosphere, that is referred as the humidity. As the air goes warmer, its capacity to hold the water vapor increases, and so it becomes more and more humid. So when the air is fully water vapor, it is referred as the humidity. During the time of summer, we usually face the problem of persuasion. We used to see that very much uncomfortable condition of the atmosphere. It is due to the increasing of water vapor, because during that time the air, in the air, the capacity of holding the moisture increases due to the increases, and what we are getting, we are, when the air is full of water vapor, we call it a humid day. As the air gets warmer, the capacity of hold water vapor increases. Look at the line. Its capacity of hold the, as the air gets warmer, its capacity to hold the water vapor increases, and so it becomes the more and more humid. So what is the reason why the summer is humid? Because its capacity to hold the moisture increases. On the humid day, clothes take the longer to dry, and sweat from our body does not evaporate easily. So already we have got this concept also, making us feel very uncomfortable. So next one, when the water vapor rises, it starts cooling. The water vapor condenses, causing the formation of droplets of water. What is this? This also lead to the formation of the clouds. They usually form around the dust particles, those which are known as the hygroscopic nuclei means around the dust particles. When the water vapor gets condensed, it is referred as the creation of hygroscopic nuclei, and when they get saturated in the moisture, they are not able to hold themselves because they usually become very heavier, and due to the gravitation they come on the earth's surface once again. It is known as the precipitation. We can also say when it is in the liquid form, it is referred as the rainfall. Now look at, there are the different types of the rainfall. The first of all, the cyclonic rainfall. What is the meaning of the cyclonic rainfall? During the time of the cyclone, what kinds of rainfall we used to see, that is referred as the cyclonic precipitation or cyclonic rainfall. The main reason is the cold and warm air, they usually get merged to each other, and leads to the such type of rainfall. Next one, that is known as the orogenic. What is the meaning of orogenic? Orogenic means mountain. Orogenic, so along with the mountain, when we usually see that the rainfall, occurring of rainfall, that is referred as the that is referred as the orogenic rainfall. Next one, conventional rainfall. Conventional rainfall, what is the meaning of the conventional rainfall? Just after getting the moisture from a particular region, in that particular area, when it will cause for the rain, that is referred as the conventional rainfall. So we can take also in the equatorial region, in the Amazon basin region, or that any other part of the world where the equatorial region is found. In that particular area, we can see that everyday afternoon rainfall. So that everyday afternoon rainfall is an example of conventional rainfall. So today we have discussed regarding the some of the factors, those which are related to the climatic condition as well as also the weather condition. So in the next video we will discuss about the permanent air pressure belt and greenhouse effect. So I hope you will stay at home and unnecessarily will not come out from the home, and obviously follow the safety measures. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead.